Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Let's get to a recap of yesterday. We finished yesterday 1-1-1. I'm starting to get a lot of that. Expect that to happen sometimes with the NHL because we have these .0 lines. Starting off with our lock of the day was Corey Perry, under 2.0 shots. We did end up finally hitting another lock of the day. Corey Perry goes under 2.0 shots. He only finishes with one. He actually had two after the first period. They took one of his shots away. You'd love to see it. So he ended up finishing, not taking another shot of the rest of the game. So solid stuff there. Steven Stamkos would finish with 3 for our push. And Philip Sattel would get injured halfway through the second period. He had one shot. It's hard to believe that with the Rangers down like 3-0 there, he wouldn't have been in there playing garbage time at the least and getting another couple shots. So that's frustrating with Philip Sattel there. He really would have probably hit. There's no way I think that he wouldn't have, especially with the blowout. So that's a tough one, but that's injuries. Injuries happen here and there. So 1-1-1 total day yesterday. We have no NHL today, which means it's full NBA slate today. So let's go ahead and get into that NBA action. Real quick, if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, make sure that you there's a link down in the description I have that automatically takes you to the App Store where you can download Underdog Fantasy. Also throws in my TAKEMYSHOT code when you guys sign up for that. So when you make your first deposit, it helps me out big time, as well as it gives you a 100% deposit match up to $100. So if you throw in $20, for example, you'll get actually $40, and they'll give you another $23 just to bet on for funsies, a little risk-free bets for fun. And so that is always nice as well to get those risk-free bets. Also helps me out, like I said, big time if you guys use my code TAKEMYSHOT. Because all my picks every single day are always going to be Underdog Fantasy picks. I think it's the best player prop betting app out there. With that being said, now let's get to today's picks. All right, coming in hot with today's lock of the day. This is going to be a no-brainer for me. I'm not going to really try to overthink this one too much in this series. Give me the lock of the day. It's going to go ahead and be Stephen Curry, baby, over 28.5 points. They're going to continue to keep him under 30. I think I'm going to continue to play with him or ride the wheels on this bus until they at least fall off, So give me Stephen Curry over 28.5 points. He's averaging 30 plus a game this series. I talked about it the other day on Sunday, the last time these two teams played. Yeah, it would have been Sunday. The Boston Celtics, aside from that first series, right, versus the Brooklyn Nets, have allowed every star for each team to score over 30 points. Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Steph. They averaged over 30 in the entire playoff series. They allow the star to get his, right? They say, okay, we're not going to stop Giannis. We're not going to stop Jimmy. We're not going to stop Steph, okay? We're just going to let them get theirs as long as we stop their role players. So I'm expecting, once again here, Stephen Curry to go over 28.5 points. He's also just been primarily, the Warriors are just giving everything to Steph Curry, obviously, right? They could say they don't really care about the accolades or whatever, but obviously they're trying to let Steph just get whatever he wants offensively. And Draymond talks about it all the time that, everything runs through Steph Curry offensively. They're trying to do as much as they can to, give Steph Curry the ball. So liking Steph over 28.5 here. This is a no-brainer. Don't try to overthink it sometimes. Just go with the stars sometimes. Next up, we're going to go with our Boston Celtic play. Give me Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. He's coming off his second worst shooting game of the entire postseason. Every time Jaylen Brown has scored under 20 in this entire postseason, he's came back in a massive way with a big performance. Game 1 versus Milwaukee was his worst game of the postseason. He had 12 points at Game 1 performance versus Milwaukee. He'd back that up that next game with 30. Then he had 18 in Game 4. He'd follow that up with 26. He'd then have 19 in Game 7. He'd follow that up with 24. In Game 4 versus Miami, he had his worst game of that series. Had 12 points. He followed that up with 25. In this last game, he shot 29% from the field. The last time he shot under 30%, he followed it up with 52%. And then he did have a game earlier this year where he shot 30%. He would follow that up with 61%. So every single time that Jaylen Brown has scored under 20 points this postseason, he has had a monster game in a bounce-back way. He's averaging 26 points per game. The following game, when he goes under 20. So I'm liking Jaylen Brown with that 26 point per game average to at least get to 23.5. That's where his line is set at today. Expect a big game today from Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. And our last play of the day is Klay Thompson, under 6.0 rebounds and assists. This one is kind of a sleeper pick for me a little bit. Obviously, Klay's not a primary ball handler. Who are their three primary ball handlers? Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, and Jordan Poole, right? At least, when Klay's on the floor, at least one of these three guys is going to be on the floor with him. So he's not a guy that's going to get a bunch of assists. Obviously, we know that's Klay Thompson, right? And as I was looking back through the film, this morning of Game 1 and Game 2. I wanted to see who Klay was primarily guarding, because who he's guarding is going to depend on how many rebounds he's going to get, right? So primarily what I was seeing in these first two games is that he was guarding Al Horford, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. All of those guys primarily sit in the mid-range to three-point area, right? So if he's guarding guys like Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Al Horford's sitting out in the corner, right? If Robert Williams is in the game, Al Horford's not sitting in the paint, because that's where Robert Williams is going to be. So Al Horford's out in the short corner, or on the all the way out in the wing, or all the way out in the three-point corner, right, or the short corner. So he's not going to get as many chances at rebounds because he's out there guarding someone out on the perimeter. Same with Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Those are guys that are sitting out on the perimeter, out on the wing. So those guys are pulling Klay out of the paint, which leaves not very many rebound chances for Klay Thompson. So I liked his matchups as far as pulling him out of the paint, so he's not getting any rebounds. The only rebounds he's going to get are long ones that kind of roll out, and just kind of find him. So I'm liking Klay Thompson under 6.0 rebounds and assists. He would have to get 7 to burn us, and at least 6 for that push. So I'm liking Klay under that today. Also, he's hitting this in 4 straight, and he's not even come close in a couple. So I'm liking Klay Thompson today under 6.0 rebounds and assists. Lock that in as our third play of the day. All right, guys. With that being said, that means it's time for our perfect 3-slip tie. Give me Stephen Curry over 28.5 points. Give me Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points. And give me our last play of the day, Klay Thompson under 6.0 rebounds and assists to round out today's perfect NBA Game 3 NBA Finals 3-slip. All right, and with that being said, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, big game here for both teams to take the lead in this series. Historically, Golden State plays not so well on the road. And, I mean, honestly, sometimes Boston doesn't play well at home either. So this could be I don't really know who to take in this one. It's pretty early in the morning. I should have checked who was the favorite in the underdog in this one. But I just forgot to. It's okay. It is what it is. Like I said, don't really care how this finals really plays out. Just want a good game between these two teams. I did expect the blowout last game. That was going to happen. Al Horford and Jaylen Brown, or Al Horford and Derek White, we're not going to combine for 40 again. But I do expect it to be a little bit more competitive this game than it was last game. Obviously, when you go home, role players play better. The energy will be different. It'll be the first game in the Garden since 2008 or something. So it'll be electric. But with that being said, guys, hopefully we get a good game tonight. These guys can put up the stats we need them to put up, or not in Klay Thompson's case. And with that being said, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.